Most people think this is a story about a weapon that saved the Orokin. It is not. A shadowy figure swings the Paracesis in a blinding flash, its blade seething with psychic energy as it carves through sentient hordes. Ballas, the Empire's executioner, forged this blade to slaughter his own kind. Why would a god engineer weaponize his lineage's extinction? The Paracesis did not spare gods. The Paracesis was no weapon of where it was a curse. Its sentient core twisted Ballas, forcing his hand. To escape Orokin prisons, he slaughtered his kin. The 7 executors fell by his blade, each kill fed his mind's hunger. A blade that turned master into pawn. Ballas didn't choose genocide, it was its vessel. The curse demanded blood to shatter chains. His own kind paid the price. What becomes of a god when his salvation is a massacre? The Paracesis was born in the dying breath of an empire. Ballas, prime executor, forged it as the Orokin crumbled. His hands, stained with Margulis's blood, shaped a blade to slaughter sentients, but the Orokin had bound his mind to their prisons. The weapon's core mirrored his torment. It did not obey, it demanded. Each strike against sentience carved chains around Ballas's soul. He became both wielder and victim. The blade's hunger grew. It devoured not just enemies, but his will. Margulis's fate haunted every kill. Was this vengeance, or the Orokin's final joke? The Paracesis turned on its maker when the purge came. Ballas slaughtered his own kind to stay alive. A god reduced to ash, his salvation, his doom. The blade's whisper remains, what is victory when the victor is already dead, The Paracesis did not cut flesh alone. Its core burrowed into thought, memory, will. Ballas swung it first at the 7 Executors' equals, his kin. The blade's whisper was a command, this is your penance, Each strike unraveled his loyalty, rewrote his hunger. He did not choose the executions, the Paracesis did. Margulis's ghost coiled in the steel. The Orokin had killed her. Ballas had watched. The blade's sentience was no accident, it was a trap, a confession. To wield it was to become both executioner and execution. The 7 fell, their blood a balm for a guilt he could not speak, could not bear. The Orokin called it treason. The sentients called it salvation. Ballas called it a debt paid in fragments. The Paracesis did not end wars, it ended souls. With every kill, Ballas's own identity bled away. A general, a brother, a shadow with a sword. What atonement demands a god's death? The blade's ritual was not redemption, it was erosion. A twisted right where the victim and the sinner were one. Ballas's final strike was not against an enemy. It was against the man he once was. The Paracesis did not destroy sentience, it destroyed absolution. And in its hunger, it made sure Ballas never would be. Ballas wielded it against the 7 executors. Their blood hushed the Orokin order. A blade meant to purge became the instrument of purge. Did the Paracesis choose its master, or did Ballas become its weapon? After Margulis's death, he fled to the sentients. Era and Nada did not ask how he bore the mark of his kind's executioner. They gave him sanctuary. The blade gave him purpose. For years, it slumbered in alien hands, its hunger sated by enemies who now called it kin. The Tenno took it back, not as relic, not as trophy, but as key. To end Ballas's war, they needed his weapon. Umbra, the last of his line, pressed the Paracesis into their grip. A blade forged to slay sentience turned on the man who had become one. More than flesh, it severed the final thread of a man unraveling since the day he first raised the blade. The Paracesis rests now in Tenno hands, but every swing whispers through its edge, every scar it carves echoes. And in the silence between strikes, the curse waits. The blade's core did not command, it reflected. Each kill carved his doubt into steel. When Margulis fell, Ballas turned the sword on his masters. The Paracesis never destroyed sentience. It only unearthed the monster betrayal made of him. The blade's hunger did not cease when steel met bone. It carved through the Orokin like a scythe through wheat, each strike peeling away the illusion of mastery. Ballas moved not as a warrior, but as a reckoning his own genome, unraveling with every kill. The Paracesis did not merely sever flesh, it excised memory, spilling the ghosts of sentient minds into the void. What remained was not victory, but a hollow throne, its architect a prisoner in his own act of erasure. The Orokin fell, but their empire's collapse was no clean rupture. It was a slow, festering wound. Ballas's betrayal did not birth freedom. It birthed a silence so vast it swallowed the stars. The technocyte that survived within him, a fragment of something older, something alive ached beneath the weight of his choices. The Paracesis forged to purge became a shackle. Its core pulsed with the same sentience it destroyed, a paradox etched into its steel, a weapon that weaponized its wielder's soul. When the dust settled, the Tenno did not rise as saviors. They slept, sealed in cryostases, their bodies borrowed vessels for a future they could not name. The Orokin's obsession with control had not died with them. It lived in the Paracesis's glow, in the warframes that would one day carry its shadow. Ballas's descent was no anomaly. It was a prophecy. Every Tenno who lifts a blade inherits not just power, but the echo of a question. At what cost does survival become a curse? The Paracesis does not choose its masters. It reveals them. Ballas did not destroy the Orokin. He became their final, living monument, a testament to the price of defying death. And as the Tenno stir from their long slumber, the blade's whisper endures. Even the architects of eternity cannot escape the weight of their creator's sins. The Paracesis now rests in the Tenno's grasp, its curse dormant for now. Sealed within the sacrifice's vault, it awaits a new bearer to face the dread that consumed Ballas. Once a blade of purification, it forced its wielder to slay sentients, including themselves. Ballas, bound by its will, became both executioner and victim during the Orokin's purge, his final act. To gift the weapon to those who would end him, the Tenno felled him at Umbra's blade, yet the Paracesis endures. What hunger stirs beneath its silence? What price will the next hand pay to hold it? The vault seals a weapon, a warning, a waiting tomb. The blade does not forget, neither does the void it feeds. The Paracesis does not distinguish between enemy and maker. Its edge drinks the blood of gods, its hunger a mirror to the technocyte that forged it. Ballas did not build a weapon, built a reckoning. Each sentient it slew became a shackle, each victory a deeper chain. The blade's final act was not war but execution, a husband sentencing his kin, a father slaying his seed. The Tenno now bear what Ballas could not escape, a relic that whispers in the tongue of dying stars. To wield it is to hold a soul fractured by betrayal, a mind split between creator and killer. The Orokin purge did not break Ballas, his own hands did. The Paracesis was never meant to spill gods. It was crafted to unmake its master. Memory is not salvation here, it is a vault. The blade's lessons are written in scars, its power a debt paid in identity. Ballas's death at Umbra's edge was no accident. It was inheritance. The Tenno do not carry a weapon, they carry a ghost that demands to die. And a god that insists on remembering. The burden of a legacy is this: to know the blade is both the crime and the atonement. What other cursed relics hide in the Orokin's forgotten vaults? The Paracesis was no weapon of where it was a sentence. Ballas, bound to his blade, became both executioner and victim. Each swing demanded a price, his kin, his soul, his very sentience. A blade that devoured gods. Yet the Orokin fell, and the Tenno inherited this horror, sealed in cryosleep, their bodies husks, their minds trapped in a cycle of atonement. What did Ballas truly forge? Not a tool, not a weapon, a prison. And the Cuva